Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport today. And by Energy Sage. Plan your energy independence and insulate yourself from rising energy costs. And by you. Stick around to find out how you can help us remain 100% independent. Welcome back to another episode of TEN Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. I hope that you are safe, well, and with someone you care about who also cares for you. This week has been another trying one, and I hope that for the next 30 minutes or so, there's a chance for you to sit back and relax, if only for a bit. We start today's show with a split screen showcasing the ridiculousness of the US EV market versus the rest of the world, courtesy of Volkswagen. On Thursday this week, it announced significant upgrades to the ID.4 and ID.5 family of vehicles for European customers, complete with new battery packs for longer range and improved charging, a higher rated towing capability, improved pedestrian safety systems, more physical buttons inside the cabin, and a vehicle to load as standard. Meanwhile, in the US, the very same day, Volkswagen announced it was ending US production of the ID.4 in Chattanooga, Tennessee by the end of this month, citing a challenging industry. At the same time, Volkswagen has confirmed it has no launch plans for new US EVs and will bring a future ID.4 model at some point to market, with the details to be shared at, quote, a later date. The ID.4's production line will be replaced by the new Atlas production line, a three-row gas-guzzling SUV Volkswagen says is more profitable, but which also gets just 18 miles to the gallon, as gas prices average more than $4 a gallon. Cognitive dissonance has never been louder. The unwritten underlying reason for Volkswagen's pullback on EVs is the very same one as we've seen for many other EV cancellations in the last year in the US, and sadly we have a second one this week. On Tuesday, Nissan cancelled plans for its long-awaited Xterra EV, a vehicle that it had promised we'd see alongside 9 other new or refreshed electric vehicles in the marketplace. Due to be built at Nissan's Canton, Mississippi plant with battery packs sourced from SK On, the new off-road capable SUV could have helped Nissan regain some of its lost ground in the EV marketplace, but during the New York Auto Show, Nissan's Senior VP, Chief Product and Planning Officer for Nissan Americas, confirmed the Xterra EV won't happen. In its place, Nissan will offer a V6 engined and a V6 engined hybrid variant, with the V6 model expected to launch first. The exact type of hybrid remains unclear. There's some hints we could see a range extended model, but it's most likely going to be a conventional or plug-in hybrid. Kia held its official 2026 CEO Investor Day this week, during which the brand laid out plans for its global automotive business over the next 5 to 10 years. Unfortunately, while the headlines might look reasonably good, a target of 1 million EV sales per year and a total of 14 EV models across its portfolio by 2030, it's worth noting that it's a significant cut from the 1.6 million units per year Kia had set itself back in 2023. That said, Kia did lay out plans to develop a next-generation platform for EVs, including a planned 40% battery capacity improvement, 9% motor output improvement, and more affordable EV technology for all. But exactly what you'll see from the brand will depend on where you live. In Europe, Kia is committing to what it says is a full EV lineup expansion and more PBV, its commercial EV model choice. Even Kia's emerging markets, think South America, Africa, and parts of Asia, are expected to get some electric and electrified model expansion, but the US, well, that's mainly going to be focused on new SUVs and pickup trucks, with a new range-extended EV body-on-frame pickup promised. But compared to other markets, yeah, I know. Just register to vote if you are an eligible US citizen. Croatian firm Rimac and its subsidiary Rimac Technology has been quite the dark horse in the EV industry, extending its influence across multiple brands in recent years thanks to its innovative drivetrain and battery tech. This week it confirmed that one of its long-standing partners, BMW, which it's been working with for several years, will be using Rimac Technology-supplied cylindrical 4695 battery cells in its upcoming refreshed i7 sedan. We first saw the cells for ourselves back at IAA in Munich last year, and they promise a 20% higher volumetric energy density compared to the prismatic cells used by BMW in its previous generation i7. While BMW hasn't officially quoted specs yet, Rimac Technology's own website promises 224 watt-hours per kilogram of energy density, 1,854 watt-hours per kilogram power density, and charge rates of up to 434 kilowatts. A production facility near Zagreb is already making cells for the new model, and we can expect more from both firms at the new BMW i7's official debut at Auto China 2026 in just a few weeks' time. So watch this space. Historically, Canada's EV launches have trailed the US's a little, with Canadian customers often waiting months beyond a US launch date to get their hands on a new model. But in a world of anti-EV rhetoric in the US, that's changing, and this week Volvo confirmed that, like the EX30 before it, the EX60 will go on sale in Canada first. And if you're in Canada, you can place an order for the EX60 today, with prices starting at 77,500 Canadian dollars. The closest thing you'll get to a modern Volvo EV station wagon, although Volvo maintains it's an SUV, the EX60 will be offered in all-wheel drive variants to Canadian customers with up to 540 kilometres of all-electric range and an 18-minute 10 to 80% fast charge time in ideal situations. Deliveries will start later this autumn. And while the EX30 has been removed from sale in the US because, well, you know, Volvo maintains the EX60 will eventually go on sale there. But given the sheer volatility of the US marketplace, not to mention the random tariffs and charges being applied hither and thither, I will believe it when I see it. As Rivian begins to prepare for the official start of deliveries of its R2 SUV, leaked EPA test figures were posted to the Rivian forums this week, suggesting that the new model will exceed initial estimates for range. While this is a leak, and things might change, the data suggests the most efficient R2 model at launch, fitted with a 21-inch wheel package, will get 335 miles or 539 kilometres per charge. As is usually the case, launch models aren't always the most efficient, and we can expect a more affordable, longer-legged variant at some point in the future. We also learned from the leaked document that the battery pack capacity is listed as being 88.67 kilowatt-hours, slightly higher than the 87.9 kilowatt-hours listed on Rivian's website, but that discrepancy might be down to tested versus actual capabilities. We also learned that the R2 will launch with a 210 kilowatt maximum charge rate at DC fast chargers and up to 11.5 kilowatts of level 2 AC charging capability. As for HVAC, well, while the EPA-tested model used a conventional air conditioning system, Rivian has confirmed the launch package for the R2 will come with a heat pump as standard, which could, we can infer, improve range. Following its official reveal earlier this spring, BMW has confirmed that the new BMW i3 will begin series production in Europe this August, with deliveries to start in the second half of the year. A new vehicle production starting is one thing, but what's particularly interesting here is that BMW is building the i3 at its extensively modernised plant in Munich, the BMW iFactory. It's part of the 104-year-old plant that's been rebuilt and designed from the ground up to work with more flexible production methods, leveraging more automation and more digital control in the production process. It will only make EVs from 2027. BMW says the facility features 800 robots working on the line, achieving a 98% automation rate in the production process. In addition to the automation, BMW says its paint shop makes use of heat and energy recovery systems alongside water-saving cycles to improve the plant's energy footprint and sustainability. capability. For now, the facility will produce just the i3, but future new class models will be added as they are announced. BYD's growth outside of its home market of China has continued to set new records for the brand, and this week its premium marque Denza helped that expansion by launching the Z9 GT in Europe. Designed to compete against the likes of Mercedes-Benz, Porsche and BMW in the marketplace, the Denza Z9 GT combines luxury and high performance into a sleek shooting brake that offers a triple-motor all-wheel drive system capable of putting 850 kilowatts to the wheels, can accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, that's about 62 miles per hour, in 2.7 seconds, and can go on to a top speed of 270 kilometers per hour, 168 miles per hour. Its 122.6 kilowatt-hour second-generation blade battery, the first European market BYD model to feature it, is compatible with BYD's flash-charging 1.5 megawatt charging tech, promising a 10 to 70% charge time of 5 minutes and a 10 to 97% charge time of 9 minutes. However, I should note that figure is currently only a theoretical capability, since no European spec chargers exist that can handle that kind of power transfer, only Chinese market units. That will change soon, however, with BYD confirming at the official launch in Paris that 3,000 flash chargers will be operational in Europe within a year. Pricing for the Z9 GT EV starts at €115,000, about 3 times what it costs in China, with a lower cost plug-in hybrid variant expected to follow later. Swedish hydrofoiling specialist Candela has been enjoying some notable growth in recent years as its purpose-built electric passenger ferries find themselves deployed all around the world. This week, the company was celebrating a win closer to home, courtesy of neighbouring Norway. That's because Boreal AS, a Norwegian ferry company, has just ordered 20 P12 ferries from Candela as part of its shift to an all-electric operation. Aside from the environmental benefits of switching to electric, the fact that the P12 flies above the water helps reduce backwash from the craft, lowers water disruptions, and lowers operational noise. But that's not all. The P12's hydrofoiling nature is around 80% more efficient than comparable diesel ferries and can travel at higher speeds, cutting travel times. Thanks to its battery tech, recharging can also happen in around an hour using short-side CCS fast chargers, which makes them ideal for frequent turnaround routes. Boreal AS hopes to welcome the first of its new vessels next year, with the final of the 20 ordered ferries expected by 2030. And finally for this segment, some news from the world of renewable energy. For the last few months, we've covered a steady stream of stories showing how renewable energy generation is on the rise around the world, with more renewables added to the grid than at any point before. But reporting this week, including some from the Associated Press, highlights a growing problem in the US. While renewable energy generation is being added to the grid at record rates, the explosion in AI and data center computing means that additional capacity is being gobbled up faster than it can be built. And with the White House ordering coal-fired plants that were slated for retirement to stay online while simultaneously trying to stop renewable energy projects, many US states are now failing to meet their own targets for a transition to renewable energy. Depending on where you live, the situation varies in its extremes. States seeing the biggest surge in data center construction, many of them in the South, attracted by cheaper land, lower taxes and looser regulations, are already seeing fossil fuel generation on the rise, with some delaying coal plant retirements and building new gas plants. Meanwhile, states that generate most of their power from renewables are seeing less of an impact. For now. Either way, if AI is gobbling up additional grid capacity, it's not making for a more resilient grid, it's making for a more expensive, more strained grid for everyone else, and very often it's ordinary citizens who end up paying the bill through higher electrical rates. And if you are in the US and would like to have some energy independence from those higher rates, why not talk to our friends at Energy Sage? Energy Sage connects you with local verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff. Not a homeowner? No worries. You can still green your electricity by joining a community solar program. I personally used Energy Sage when we decided to put solar on the roof of our home, and their verified pros were knowledgeable and extremely professional. Our local Energy Sage verified installer even put us in touch with a credit union that offered a special low-interest loan program for us to finance with. Granted, there aren't any federal incentives for solar installations anymore, but there are still many local funds in many places, and Energy Sage can help you through that process, maximising your investment. So follow the links below to sign up for Energy Sage's free, no-obligation service and get started today. And disclaimer, if you choose an Energy Sage installer, we'll also receive a small referral fee, so you'll be helping us too. Help the grid get greener, save money, gain energy independence and support the channel? It's a win-win-win-win. And now it's time for our recall reminders. As usual, full details are on our website. Nissan has officially expanded its recall campaign for battery pack faults in its new Leaf EV to the US and Canada. 51 vehicles are affected by the recall and owners will be notified. Stellantis is recalling some Pacifica models in the US and Canada to address improperly sealed side curtain airbags. They may fail to operate as intended and will be replaced. And finally, for the recalls, Mercedes-Benz is recalling its G580 EV in the US after discovering that some vehicles may have had incorrectly installed wheel bolts at the factory. These may be too loose, leading to wheel loss. That's it for our recall reminders. Now it's time for our news shorts. As usual, you'll find full links on our website at transportevolved.com. Komatsu has launched its largest excavator to date. The PC9000-12 is designed for mining operations and can carry more than 80 tons in its bucket. It's available in diesel or electric form. APM Terminals at the Port of Los Angeles has run the numbers to show that adopting electric terminal trucks instead of diesel ones can slash the idle times of trucks at the port by 85%. Ahead of its official 2027 European market launch, Xiaomi has hired Tesla's former European delivery operations manager to spearhead European logistics. Multiple former Tesla alum now work at the Chinese firm. NHTSA has officially closed an extensive safety probe into Tesla's Smart Summon feature, concluding that subsequent Tesla OTA updates fixed all relevant issues that caused around 159 documented incidents of minor property damage. Hyundai has announced some significant discounts in the US on its IONIQ 5, cutting sticker prices by $8,750. It's now possible to get behind the wheel of the entry-level IONIQ 5 from $35,000. Rivian spin-off also has announced a new partnership with DoorDash in the US to help accelerate the use of autonomous delivery systems. The two firms aim to develop solutions for situations where full-size vehicles can't go. The City of New York now has a total of 1,000 EVs in its law enforcement fleet, ranging from vehicles like the Ford Mustang Mach-E to the Silverado EV and the EV Blazer, the first pursuit-rated EV. Microvast and Iveco have announced an expansion to their existing EV battery system partnership. The expansion will allow the firms to expand development of heavy-duty EV battery packs. Hino and Mitsubishi Fuso Trucks have completed their merger, becoming the Archeon Group. The new firm will continue to operate both brands as separate subsidiaries. The Michigan Department of Transportation has announced a further investment of $51 million through the NEVI program to allow it to build out further EV charging infrastructure across the state. Grab AI, working in partnership with WeRide, has launched Singapore's first autonomous public ride service. There are 3 routes, building on an early rider program that was previously invite-only. As the price of petrol soars as the US-Israeli war in Iran continues, the UK's Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders is recording a new record for EV registrations. In March, in total, 86,120 EVs were registered. A fleet of electric delivery trucks have been officially welcomed to PepsiCo's Indian delivery fleet. The new trucks are expected to cover 500,000 electric kilometres every year. Talking of trucks, a new electric freight corridor will be developed between Morocco and France, part of a partnership between Gotion, Green Power Morocco and Chery Heavy Trucks. The 2,000-kilometre route will feature battery swap and charging sites. Renault has officially launched a new brand, Plug-in. It's the rebranding of what was previously known as Mobilize Beyond Automotive. It focuses on charging solutions for EVs, hence the plug-in pun. Bloomberg reported this week that rumours suggest Stellantis is in talks with its Chinese partner Leapmotor about establishing a knockdown kit assembly facility for EVs in Ontario, Canada. Nothing has been officially confirmed yet. Meanwhile, in Europe, Stellantis is also said to be in talks with Leapmotor to have it design and build a new all-electric SUV for its Opel and Vauxhall brands. At a conference this week, Daimler Buses CEO confidently stated that the brand's new NMC4 battery would help bus fleets phase out diesel buses entirely by 2029. Kia UK celebrated selling its 100,000th EV in the country this week. The car in question was an EV5 GT line S model in iceberg green. Kia also confirmed the end of sales for the Kia Niro EV, which has effectively been replaced by the EV3. Renault's two newest retro-named models, the Renault 4 E-Tech and Renault 5 E-Tech, both earned 5-star ratings from Green NCAP this week. Green NCAP marks vehicles based on life cycle carbon footprints and emissions. BMW has been making big claims this week of its new hydrogen fuel tank stack for use in its upcoming iX5 hydrogen fuel cell model. It claims the 7 tanks, arranged underneath the car in a larger tank like a battery pack, will offer ranges of up to 385 miles or 750 kilometres. Chinese truck firm Windrose has officially entered into the US marketplace after delivering its first truck to a fleet customer. The truck looks like a Tesla Semi down to its central driving position. Patents filed by Porsche and uncovered this week suggest the brand is looking to implement what amounts to a hidden set of racing stripes on its vehicles to help convey state of charge while charging and perhaps power flow while in use. As it expands its operations across Europe, Fastned has appointed new country-specific bosses to help manage individual markets. 3 new country directors now cover France, Switzerland and Denmark. Belgium-based Collect & Go has announced a new home delivery service in Leuven in collaboration with Telenet Business. It uses a fully autonomous electric vehicle. After enjoying high numbers of pre-orders, the Toyota BZ7, built in collaboration with Toyota's Chinese partner GAC, has officially gone on sale in China. Prices start from 147,800 yuan. As the price of oil continues to rise, BYD is reporting dramatic surges in customer interest around the world, calling it, quote, another level of sales. Last week, Thailand's Prime Minister was spotted driving a BYD Sea Lion 07 as the price of gas soars. Nobody likes coming across a broken or inoperable EV charging station, and now Virginia-based Everged is announcing a new program that will let businesses swap out old, unsupported charging stations for new ones with no upfront costs. After multiple years of testing, logistics company DFDS has signed a 7-year deal for a new electric Ro-Ro terminal truck developed by MOL and Volvo Penta. The first examples will enter service this year. Generational has announced a new cell-level EV battery voltage testing service for its existing EV battery assessment platform for used car dealerships, aiming to help enhance used car health evaluations. The British government has just signed off on a new 800-megawatt solar farm in the East Midlands. It's due to enter service in 2029, providing enough power for 180,000 homes a year. While BYD's chief scientist went on the record this week to state that solid-state technology for EV batteries has reached a critical stage, they also acknowledged there are still massive hurdles to overcome, mostly focused on lithium dendrite and ion stability. Swedish charging company Milepost has acquired Mer's Swedish network of slow to mid-power charging stations, allowing Mer to focus on higher power sites. Indian company ChargeZone has announced plans to set up more than 1,000 fast charging stations across major national highway corridors in the nation within just 1 year. Mercedes-Benz has confirmed the Mercedes AMG GT 4-door coupe has officially finished its winter testing. The car is based on the concept AMG GT XX we saw in previous years. Kia has confirmed that the EV3 Air and GT line variants, as well as the EV4 Motion variants, are now eligible for the UK's government electric car grant programme worth £1,500. The city of Prague has approved a new project to renew public lighting as part of a new e-mobility programme to convert streetlights to energy-efficient lighting and EV charging posts. As sales slow in the US, Ford is offering customers heavy discounts on its Mustang Mach-E, outgoing F-150 Lightning and E-Transit. Some deals also include free charging stations. Volkswagen's collaboration with Moya into autonomous robotaxis is now entering into a new test phase in Los Angeles. Test fleets are already in operation elsewhere in the world. Lynk Co has officially launched its 10 Plus electric sedan, complete with a 900-volt battery pack and a 0 to 97% charge time of 8 minutes and 42 seconds. It's now on sale in China. And finally for the segment, more silliness from the people of the world who can't be trusted to drive their car. And yes, it's another Tesla driver. This time, they were arrested for DUI after passing out drunk behind the wheel of their autopilot-equipped car. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but FSD is not fully autonomous. And that's it for your news shorts. There will be more next week. Our final 2 news stories are coming in a moment, but first a word from one of our most important sponsors to the channel, you. For more than 15 years, we've brought you the news on cleaner, greener, safer, smarter and more equitable transportation and energy. We're not backed by corporations and we don't have massive production budgets. Our small team work hard every week to deliver well-researched, honest content. We've refused paid editorial influence and focused on content rather than revenue. But good videos don't pay the bills when YouTube ad revenue is being sucked away by corporate greed and AI cruft. And the cost of making videos and doing business keeps soaring. So we've tightened our belts, but we're about as tight as we can get. So in order to keep doing this, we need to keep our funds rolling in. So if you're able, and I truly mean only if you are able, please consider supporting us from as little as $1.50 a month on Patreon or here on YouTube, and every little really does help. And if you can't support us financially, remember sharing our work, reposting it, and engaging with us all helps more than you might think. To everyone who already supports us, thank you. You're the reason that we're still here. And now, let's get to those final 2 stories. Electric bicycles are a great way to leave the car at home and reduce our overall transportation footprint. They can help improve health outcomes, and they can sometimes even get you to your destination more quickly. But as e-bikes become more popular, legislation hasn't exactly kept pace with the technology. In recent months, we've seen several proposed laws come into the spotlight aimed at improving safety for everyone on the road and the cycle path. This week, California's Assembly Bill 1614 proposed new rules around passengers on bicycles, which of course include e-bikes. Specifically, it would require any passenger to be seated on a clearly separate dedicated seat. The problem, though, is that many popular moped-style e-bikes, think things like the Super 73 range, use long, continuous bench seats designed for 2 people, but without a clearly defined second seat. Under this bill's wording, those bikes could be off limits if you want to carry a passenger. So while the intent is safer riding, the practical effect could be pushing a lot of everyday riders into legally grey areas they never expected to be in. And finally, after wowing audiences with its Flying Flea concepts, named in homage to the airdropped motorcycles of World War II, Royal Enfield's first electric bike is now officially launched. And based on the specs published this week, it's quite impressive. According to the firm, the Flying Flea C6, the C6 is the model name, while Flying Flea is a new sub-brand for Royal Enfield, features a 3.91 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack, a 15.4 kilowatt motor, and a claimed IDC range of 154 kilometers or 96 miles. That's not anything to get super excited about, though. IDC ranges aren't exactly real-world accurate, but this is a motorcycle designed for everyday commuting and affordability. Charging can be configured as low as 500 watts all the way up to 2.2 kilowatts, meaning it can accommodate less than stellar charging infrastructure, and multi-modes allowed riders to choose a profile to suit their needs. And at 3 lakh rupees, which is about $3,240 US, it's also one of the most affordable electric motorcycles we've seen go on sale to date. I frankly hope it goes on sale everywhere. And on that note, we are done for today's show. But first, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring the show. The EVA has been around since 1967 and is firmly committed to a cleaner, greener future for everyone. Join the EVA today to find out how to become an EV educator, how to meet like-minded EV fans, and get help making your own transition to electric. That includes access to a low-interest loan program to help finance your next step. Find out more at myeva.org. And thanks as well go to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to start planning your own energy-independent future today. And of course, thank you. If you're able, please consider supporting us from as little as $1.50 a month on Patreon or YouTube. Supporting us can also mean sharing our content, joining our Discord, promoting us on social media, or using our affiliate links, all of which are linked below. And if one-off donations are more of your thing, remember that we also have a PO Box and Ko-fi, which are both great ways to help keep us going. And if you don't want to miss out on our stuff, remember we publish new content every week. And if you follow us on YouTube or PeerTube, make sure you also follow us on social media, Mastodon, or join our Discord chat room. And yes, we are also working to add a new Fluxer chat room so we can transition away from Discord. So there is a link down below for those early adopters who want to try it. Finally, I want to remind you of the really important stuff. You are valid, you are loved, you belong, and you have a purpose. Every week I stand here and I say that you matter, and I truly believe it. But as things here in the US become increasingly authoritarian, and we all witness either from near or far what's going on, it can be hard to believe that things will ever feel safe or normal again. And this week's news cycle hasn't done much to change our minds on that. I know that I personally, I have news exhaustion from all of the cruel, horrific things that politicians are doing to others, and I would like to go back to a previous restore save point, if you don't mind. Unfortunately, we can't do that. We can only go forwards, and for that, we all need to work together. I know some people hate me on here for going political, but without the team telling you what's going on and how it's affecting our lives and the people we care about, many of you wouldn't know. Just this week, I had to turn down a company that invited me somewhere because it wouldn't be safe for me to travel there. A lot of policies and laws around the US already impact our ability to travel, to film videos, to make content, to just exist. And without intentional action from everyone watching, it will get worse. But while we need strength and resilience, we also need time to care for ourselves. So make sure you do that with intent so that we can all get back to fighting for a cleaner, greener, safer, smarter, and more equitable world, one rooted in justice, fairness, and a shared goal. In the meantime, let your light shine wherever you are, whoever you love. Thank you for being that positive change, and as always, keep evolving.